Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty and the beginning of a month means kit building time for me. And of course, as part of the design team over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge, I am playing with that project, which means we are using an inspiration kit, which happens to be from the Hip Kit Club this time around, back from May 2021. And we use inspiration to inform us in ways that we can build our own kits. So taking an overview look at this kit, there's a few things that I noticed. I noticed some banners right away. I noticed designers right away, and that was really what caught my attention this time. I've worked with the Pink Fresh product lines before. I've worked with the Jen Hadfield product lines before, and then there was some Paige Evans product lines in there. And that striped paper that I was just pointing at in particular was one of the Paige Evans papers that I really liked. Now, along with the main kit, you can find various add-ons, including cardstock, and you could use that color palette to start your kit build off of. Here is some stencils, which are just ideas of additions you can put into your kit. This is an extra embellishment kit, which I will definitely use to inform my process as we get there. And then Hip Kit also offers a project lifestyle kit, and I didn't really go there this month, but you could always use that as part of your inspiration if you're looking for ways to add to your kit. So I pulled out a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm going to walk you through my process of why I pulled things out, and then how I tweak and eliminate things that aren't working. So I really liked that striped paper that was the Pink Fresh in the kit, but I didn't have that paper. I thought I did, but I didn't. So I pulled out this striped paper, which is an Amy Tan piece, and it has a bit of foiling on there. And then next up, I pulled out this blue piece and this pink piece, which both had similar things going on in the kit, if you take a closer look at the pattern papers. And then I pulled out a yellow piece, and while not the same geometric print, it had a similar vibe going on. And then I looked at that Paige Evans butterfly print, and I did not have that in my stash. And so I pulled another butterfly, and then I noticed there were florals in the inspiration kit. So I pulled this greenery, and the other floral are by Jen Hadfield. And when I looked at that greenery, I thought, no, that's too heavy visually. And I flipped it over, and it had this yoga print on the other side. And while the tones of these three Jen Hadfield papers aren't the same as that very bold burst of stripes paper, I'm going to make this all work with the kit in the end, and you'll kind of stick with me and see how that goes. So then, thinking of other designers, Pink Fresh was a big one in the inspiration kit. So I did go through my Pink Fresh stash. I found this pack of papers, which had several pieces in there, which I've already worked with in my stash before, but also several pieces that I haven't. So I pulled out things from here that had the circle vibes going on from that little inspiration piece that was a different Pink Fresh. So I actually ended up pulling out two circles, and then I already had kind of an office supply element piece there, and then I added in some like journaling card styles. And then I pulled out some more florals, and then this camera print, and really why the camera print is because it had bold colors to it that I thought would work with Pink Fresh. But we'll get to, I eventually eliminate it, and we'll get to why later. But there were a lot of florals in the kit, so I did pull out that kind of heavier floral there on the top, and we'll talk more about that floral print a little bit later too. And here I'm kind of pointing out that a lot of these papers have different colors to their base. The Jen Hadfield has kind of a gray base. The Pink Fresh has a white base, and some of the other papers have a yellow base to them. So I'm going to use that as a way to help narrow things down a bit. So I've got more to pull before I eliminate. This blue piece was a very close match to the original inspiration, so I pulled that. This piece had circular elements to it that was inspired by the Pink Fresh piece. I don't know that I need more circles, but I did go ahead and pull it. This is a P13 paper pad that I knew had a map print in it, and so I was flipping through it thinking about that map print, and I saw this striped diagonal and I almost pulled it, but then in the end I decided not to. I did go ahead and pull that map print, which was based on the inspiration piece and put it in my pile. And then I realized those colors were very different. So I went back to my very first piece and started thinking about color. And I realized lime green was a color in that piece. So I found these lime greens, and this stripe actually reminded me of that original stripe. And then I found this stripe, which was not only reminiscent of that original stripe, but it also had foiling on it that matched my first piece. And so I threw that in the pile. And then as I was thinking further about lime green, I started realizing who does lime green? Vicki Boutin does lime green. So I went to my Vicki Boutin stash, and of course I did find some lime green, so in that goes. I also found another fun specialty piece, which I think I'm passing up right now, but I found those pencils, which goes with the office-y learning school vibe, so I threw that in there. And then I also found this circular pie piece, which is reminiscent of those angled stripes. And then I realized maybe my kit was getting too big, so I thought about what do I want to do to eliminate. So I put all these papers into categories. All the solid colored papers up at the top are going to stay as is. Then I've got this category of circular prints that I will look through. I've got this category of specialty foiled papers that I will look through. I've got this category of kind of more natural prints. I eliminated that really heavy floral, and so I'm keeping these ones. The butterfly I did set aside because it was also very heavy visually. The matte print ended up going because it was too pastel, so I set that aside. So in terms of these office-y prints, I eliminated the camera just because the yellow base wasn't going with anything that I had left so far. And then going back to the circles, I did go ahead and eliminate this piece because it had a pastel color palette to it, and it also had pineapples going on, which didn't make sense with anything else I had picked. So it went, and then I started substituting. So instead of that visually heavy floral, I found a lighter, brighter floral. Instead of that more visually heavy camera, I found, again, a lighter, brighter camera print. And then I couldn't find anything equivalent in my butterflies. I didn't have any other butterfly paper. So I stuck with the Jen Hadfield designer theme, and I pulled out this sheet that will coordinate with those butterflies. And on the back, it also had this bird print, which gives that kind of airy feel that the butterflies do. So I went and ran with the butterfly / bird idea, and I pulled out some butterfly specialty paper, some gold foiled butterflies, and some wood veneer birds. And then I moved on to the other embellishments. We'll go through this part a little bit faster because the idea, my thinking is very similar. I did pull out some stencils from Vicki Boutin in circles and florals. I pulled out a texturing medium, but I'm going to sub that out with a texture paste and not a gel, because the gel I've discovered changes the colors when I'm using it, and the texture paste won't. So going back to our kit, these banners came directly from inspiration from the kit, and I pulled some of those. This piece is directly out of the add-on inspiration from the kit. Now these I pulled based on the kind of map travel theme, and I end up tossing them aside. This was an alpha set that had some office vibe and also an alpha in the color that would match, so it stayed. These were too bold and bright of ephemera, so I will go ahead and put those away and eliminate those. And then I had these little paper pads from Paige Evans, which actually ended up having that exact butterfly print in it, so those stayed. I pulled out a whole bunch of Pink Fresh ephemera and embellishments of various styles. I eliminated pretty much all the florals, and I kept all the office-y kind of educational themed vibes because I have some stories along those lines to tell, and it matched with the Pink Fresh papers that I had in my kit. I also pulled out a supply of Vicki Boutin since I had already pulled out some of her papers. I keep the sticker book and I eliminate the sticker sheets. I keep a word set from Vicki Boutin, and I keep this ephemera pack from Vicki Boutin because it had some nature butterfly elements to it, as well as kind of those office-y, artsy supplies in there too. So that rounds out the embellishments. You can see all of the papers that I kept here, and you can see all of the embellishments that I ended up keeping. And with this mix of bold graphic kind of school and office-y supply, along with the softer, more natural butterfly, yoga, florals, I am going to combine these and call this kit Nature Study. So that's it for this kit build. I will be back on the 4th with a forgery on the 4th project where some of these inspiration kit pieces inspired me but didn't make it into my kit, I will recreate them and go ahead and add them to my kit. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.